Hey, what's going on everybody? This is Noble, and today I'm going to be sharing with you my Sky Striker deck profile. So, Sky Strikers are probably a fan favorite at this point. I feel like, you know, if you ask like 5 people, at least 3 of them are going to like say, I love Sky Strikers. But they've been a lot more hype lately, and I haven't even done a Sky Striker profile, so I thought now would be, you know, as good of a time as any to do it. So, I hate long intros, guys. Let's get right on into this. So, to start off with, we're going to be playing triple a Sky Striker Ace Ray. So, what Ray does is, it's really the heart and soul of the deck. It has a quick effect where you contribute this card special summon one Sky Striker Ace monster from your extra deck to the extra monster zone. While this card is in your graveyard, if a face-up Sky Striker Ace Link monster you control is destroyed by battle or leaves the field because of an opponent's card effect and you special summon this card, you will use each effect of Sky Striker Ace Ray once per turn. So this really just starts off everything, and then the fact that literally if something gets blown up or destroyed by battle or something like that, you can special summon this card back to the field, and you can just kind of start all over. So this is an absolute phenomenal card. Definitely recommend you playing at 3. I don't think I've ever seen anyone play this at less than 3. I might be mistaken, but I don't think so. I'm also running double Sky Striker Ace Rose. This one is where it gets a little controversial. Some people will play it at 1. I like it at 2 personally. But what this one does is a Sky Striker monster or monsters is normal or special summon, except this card. Except during the damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand. If an opponent's monster in the extra monster zone is destroyed by battle or leaves the field because of your card effect, and that's important, your card effect, while this card is in the graveyard, you can special summon this card. Then you can negate the effects of one face-up monster your opponent controls until the end of this turn. And that's really cool because that effect negation doesn't target. So if something has targeting protection, let's say like Avermax, for example, this could get right past that because this doesn't target. So that is really cool. So that is it for the Sky Striker main deck monsters. Like that's, you know, there's not many of them at all. It's really small monster count. So for the rest, playing hand traps, this is my hand trap package of preference. Of course, you know, up to you, whatever you want to do. But I'm playing triple Effect Veiler. I just absolutely love Effect Veiler. You know, for a while I didn't play it, but just as I've been playing more and more this year, I've just really seen how good Effect Veiler is still to this day, just stopping monster effects. The only restrictions has to be during your opponent's main phase, but it's still a really good card. And again, of course, if you'd rather play something else, you can do that. And then, of course, you know, arguably the best one in the game, but fan favorite, of course, Ash Blossom and Joy Spring, because this is just like the staple hand card, I guess you could say these days. Hand trap, excuse me. Just really stopping your opponent from searching. If you have Droll and Lock, if you'd rather play Droll and Lock, you can do that. I actually don't own a Droll and Lock. I had one and I traded it to my buddy, and I don't have one, and I don't feel like paying 30 bucks for a playset. So I am playing Ash at the moment, but if you have Droll and Lock, you could absolutely do that as well. And then I'm also running double Ghost Ogre, and then also I'm running the 3 Psyframe Gear Gamma, and then also the 1 Driver as well. This is just amazing. Like this is getting seen play more and more often lately. It's just phenomenal, man. This Gamma and Driver, it's just so good. I love it, absolutely love it. And then Ghost Ogre, of course, just being able to like basically pop something. And if you'd rather play Nibiru, just, you know, side in whatever, you know, you need to do. But if you'd rather make room and play some Nibiru or something like that, or some Kaijus, you could do that. So for the spells, I'm running a Terraforming and then 2 Sky Striker Airspace Area 0, because that's definitely one. I ordered a playset. For some reason, I only got 1 in. I don't really know what's up with that. So until I get the other ones, you know, I'm dealing with that. But if you wanted to run 3 in a Terraforming, you could do that. Because this is an important card for the deck, and you do want to see this as quickly as possible. It's the field spell for the deck, and you can target one other card you control and excavate the top 3 cards of your deck. And if you do that, you add 1 excavated Sky Striker card from to your hand. You shuffle the rest of the cards back into the deck, and then if you excavated a Sky Striker card, you send the targeted card to the graveyard. Which a lot of times, you know, you might do like with your spells to get a spell in the graveyard as well, and then add something to your hand, because in this deck you want your spells in the graveyard. So it really helps out with advantage. And if this card in the field zone is sent to the graveyard by a card effect, you can special summon 1 Sky Striker Ace monster from your deck, and you can only use each effect of Sky Striker Airspace Area 0 per turn. So that it just gives you a lot of advantage. This card is really phenomenal. Just being able to special summon and a Sky Striker Ace monster from your deck is amazing. And again, if you wanted to play 3 of this, you could do that. Next up, I'm running one Eagle Booster. I really like Eagle Booster. If you don't want to play this, that's fine. But it's a quick play spell. What it does is if you control no monsters in your main monster zone, you target one face-up monster on the field, and that target is unaffected by card effects this turn except its own. If you have 3 or more spells in the graveyard, it can't be destroyed by battle this turn. I just really like this card. It's actually saved me quite a few times, so I do like running it. I'm running one Hornet Drones. If you control no monsters in your main monster zone, you special summon a Striker Ace token. It's a warrior, dark, level 1, attack 0, defense 0 in defense position, which cannot be attributed if you have 3 or more spells in your graveyard. When this effect resolves, the token's attack and defense become 1500 instead. I'm running one Jamming Waves. I've seen this run at 2. Personally, I kind of like one better. But if you control no monsters in your main monster zone, you target one set spell and trap card on the field and you destroy it. Then if you have 3 or more spells in your graveyard, you can destroy a monster on the field. This is just really helpful for some removal. Also running one multi-roll, absolutely freaking amazing card. Once per turn, you can target one other card you control, send that card to the graveyard. Also, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to your spell card's activation for the rest of this turn, even if this card leaves the field. You can only gain the previous effect once per turn. Once per turn during the end phase, you can set Sky Striker spells with different names from your graveyard up to the number of Sky Striker spell cards you activated this turn while this card was face up on your field, but banish them when they leave the field. This card is absolutely amazing. I'm also running triple Widow Anchor because we can do that now. Widow Anchor is really good. It helps out being able to have 3 of this card. If you control no monsters in your main monster zone, you target one face-up effect monster on the field and negate that face-up monster's effects until the end of this turn. Then, if you have 3 or more spells in your graveyard, you take control of that monster until the end phase, which is really cool, and it being a quick play spell as well, it just really helps out for some additional disruption. I'm also running triple Sky Striker Mecha Shark Cannon. Now, if you don't want to run 3 Shark Cannon, you don't have to. I've seen this played at 2 as well, and that's fine. But if you control no monsters in your main monster zone, you target one monster in your opponent's graveyard, you banish that monster, or if you have 3 or more spells in your graveyard, you can special summon that monster to your field instead, but it cannot attack, and that is really cool. And then I'm also running double Afterburners too. So what this one does, if you control no monsters in your main monster zone, are you seeing a trend yet? You target one face-up monster on the field, destroy it. Then if you have 3 or more spells in your graveyard, you can target a spell and trap card on the field. So that is really, really cool, just being able to pop a face-up monster and then, more than likely being able to pop a spell and trap as well. I don't really like this one at 3. I don't really like maxing this one out. But if you wanted to do that, you could. I'm also opting to run 2 Foolish Burial Goods. I've actually tested this a little bit and I actually like it a lot because this deck really wants your spells in the graveyard. And basically what this does, it's just a Foolish Burial except for spells and traps. So you send a spell and trap card from your deck to the graveyard and it's a hard once per turn. That's literally all it does. If you don't want to, run this, you don't have to, but I've actually found it to be quite helpful. And then I'm also running triple Dark Ruler No More. This is just a preference. I found this to be really useful just with all the negations that decks can just put out. It's really kind of overwhelming these days. So having Dark Ruler No More just kind of in the back of your mind, this is just a really good card to have, and it can kind of ease your mind a little bit. If you'd rather run something else, I mean, you could do that. If you want to run some kaijus or something, you could do that as well. And then lastly, I'm running triple Imperm, absolutely amazing card. I say this all the time and I'll say it again, you don't have to have this card, but if you do have it, it helps out. Same with Droplets. That's why I didn't put that in this one. I didn't want to put Droplets and Imperm and triple Tactical Talents in a Sky Striker deck. I didn't want to do that. Of course, if you have access to these cards, I would recommend you playing them, but I don't want to just put multiple of $40 and $70 cards in a deck and just say, hey, this is what you need to run, because I mean that just can get kind of, it just can get kind of disheartening sometimes because these cards can get so expensive, but there are different avenues that you can run if you do not have access to them as well. And also running double Ice Dragon's Prison. I really like this card, man. This card gets better and better like every week, it seems like. When it was like super cheap, like I think it was like $3 at one time. I'm not really sure what it is now. I pulled both of these. But this card's just so good. You target one monster in your opponent's graveyard, you special summon it to your field, but its effects are negated. Then you can banish one monster from both players' fields that have the same type as each other, and you can only activate one Ice Dragon's Prison per turn. And if you didn't want to run this one, that's fine. If you want to run some strikes or something like that, you could do that. But I absolutely love this card. If you want to side this in, that's fine. So that is it for the main deck, guys. Let's move into the extra deck. So getting into the extra deck, I'm running triple Kagari. Kagari is just so good. I actually absolutely love all of the Sky Striker Link monsters, but Kagari is probably my favorite. It's a Link 1 like most of the rest of them. If this card is special summon, you can target one Sky Striker spell in your graveyard and add it back to your hand, and it gains 100 attack for each spell in your graveyard. You can only special summon Sky Striker Ace Kagari once per turn. That's it. That's all this card does, but it's really phenomenal. Absolutely love it. Also playing triple Sky Striker Ace, I don't know, I'm not sure how you say this one. Shizuku, I believe is how you say this one. But same thing, Link 1, 1500 attack. Monsters your opponent controls lose 100 attack defense for each spell in your graveyard, which honestly that can add up really quickly. And then once per turn during the end phase, if this card was special summoned this turn, you can add one Sky Striker spell from your deck to your hand with a name different than the cards in your graveyard. So just being able to get that additional search during the end phase is really cool. And also once per turn. You can only special summon once per turn. Her once per turn. I'm also running double Hayate and then one Kana. So what Hayate does is you can only special summon Sky Striker Ace Hayates once per turn. This card can attack directly, which is also nice. After damage calculation, if this card battled, you can send one Sky Striker card from your deck to the graveyard. So it can attack directly, and it's basically a Foolish Burial for any Sky Striker card. And then what Kana does is if this card is special summoned, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls. It cannot attack until the end of your opponent's turn, which is really nice to have that little buffer zone. Each time you activate a Sky Striker spell card or its effect, you gain 100 life points immediately after the card or effect resolves. Arguably the worst one out of all of them. That's why I only run it at one. If you wanted to max out Hayate, you could do that. I really only use Kana a little bit. I don't use it too much, but it is still really nice to have. I'm also running a Sky Striker Ace Zeke. So this one came out in Dual Overload, I believe. And this is the Link 2 one. It must be Link summoned. You can only special summon Sky Striker Ace Zeke or Zeke's once per turn. If this card is Link summoned, you can target one face-up monster on the field and banish it until your opponent's next end phase, which a lot of time the game's going to be over by then. So that is really nice to be able to do that. And then once per turn, you can target one other card you control. This card gains 1000 attack, and then you send the targeted card to the graveyard, potentially getting more resources in the graveyard, and this card bumps up to 2500, which is really cool. And then lastly, I'm just running one Nightmare Phoenix, one Avermax, and then also one Access Code. Access Code can just win games just by itself, but also I've actually used Avermax as well on this deck, and it works really well. And then also running a Borlo Savage and a Draco Berserker of the Tinny, just because for the gammas, so they're not just kind of like dead on the field. I've actually been able to use them to go into these guys, and it's been really nice just to be able to have that. If you don't want to do that, if you're not running the gammas, you could just swap that out for something else. But it's something I played around with for a little bit, and I've actually really liked it. So that is it for the deck profile, guys. I do really hope you enjoyed it. Sky Strikers, like I said, I'm pretty sure they're a fan favorite at this point. They do a lot, and they do it really well, and it's not really expensive deck either. It just depends on kind of the rarities you want to go for the spells. And like these, like if you get a playset of like the parallel secret rares for most of these, they're like $2 for a playset. Like it's really cheap. It again depends on the rarities you want to go for the spells. Like the secret rare, like Jam and Waves or something like that, might be like $5 a piece. So kind of just depends. But you can make this deck overall for a pretty budget. Just kind of depends on what you want to put in for the hand traps as well. But yeah, guys, that is it for the deck profile. I do hope you enjoyed it. I'm also going to be doing a Sky Striker Numeron package deck profile pretty soon. I just kind of want to do a more pure Sky Striker profile first, but if you're here and you haven't already done so, go ahead and subscribe. I'd absolutely love that. Hit the bell so you become part of the notification team so you don't miss anything that goes on this channel. And if you watch this video and liked it, give it a thumbs up. I'd absolutely love and appreciate that. It allows my videos to circulate around YouTube a little bit more, and me being a very small YouTuber, it literally makes all the difference in the world. So thanks for watching. As always, I'll see you in the next video.